For the last decade, perhaps longer, there has been a deep and abiding sense that we, the people in the United States of America, are no longer masters of our own destiny. There are those who have co-opted the institutions of the United States. They have taken over the powers of government. They have taken over the powers of the market. There is no fair and free trade at the business level in Wall Street. There is no free and fair trades and discussion in the halls of Congress. There is blackmail. There is coercion. There are backroom shady deals that are made, and I think you know what I'm talking about. Over the last several years, particularly since Trump's rise to power, there has been an unveiling of the deep state, the powers that be, the powerful elite, and their agenda for us all. It's not a good agenda. They do not want your wealth and your prosperity. They don't want to skim a little bit off the top. What they want to do is they already have enough, they think, but now they want to exert control upon everyone else. They want to eradicate the human race somewhat. They want to depopulate the planet. They want less of us to share their great wealth with. They want less of us and they want us more dependent upon them. They want more total control and power. But there is something else happening as well. Protests are rising up around the world. Farmers are taking to the streets and blocking the roads across Europe. There are protests of truckers and farmers in Canada. There is a growing protest movement in India even. There is a great discontent with the situation that is and an unwillingness to continue moving forward with these people at the helm. What will happen next? I don't know. But one of the things I wanted to point out is the super willingness of many in America to wait for someone else to pay the price. We're all eager to see farmers who aren't us go take their tractors, pay for diesel, drive across the country and raise a commotion somewhere. We want to see truckers pay for their own diesel, who are making payments on their trucks to leave work and to go protest at the border. We want other people like Donald Trump or whoever else to pay the political costs, to be ambushed and to be swamped by lawsuits. We want other people to pay the price, but the question is, what price are we willing to pay? If we are a nation of observers and we all watch these people do battle, and maybe we cheer them on in comments in Facebook posts and comments, if you're still allowed on Facebook, or YouTube channels, typing comments. But the question is going to come down to this. If we truly do not want to go where they are leading us, it will take all of us pushing back. I'm not asking every single person to leave their place of employment, to take great costs, to go to some distant city to protest. We've seen that centralized type protests have backfired as they've been infiltrated by government agencies. People have been set up. The most zealous among us sit in prison cells because they entered the wrong building. And we see that those of us who would step up and would make those sacrifices, we've stepped back and allowed them to bear the costs, the brunt of what we long to see changed in our country. And the challenge here is that each of us need to make changes. It's not good to go, well, if I were called upon at some point to make some sacrifices, some noble, glorious all-encompassing sacrifices, this grand gesture, then I would rise to the occasion. The question is what are you doing today? What have you done this week? And you say, Steve, what can I do? Well, friends, resistance is in the many, many people doing a little something. Not in a few people doing vast amounts, but many, many people doing a little bit. Whether that act of pushing back is donating to a certain candidate that's bearing a lot of the attacks out there. I don't know. Maybe some of you have never made any political contributions. It's not that hard to do. And even small dollar amounts can make a big difference. By adding more and more people to the campaign rosters, perhaps you can volunteer a little bit for a political campaign. Now, I'm not saying all the answers are in political campaigns. I think we should avail ourselves of those things with the illusion that our campaigning and the election cycle is still effective. We should at least give some effort on that course, I believe. But what about other courses? What are you doing? I strongly advocate here on this channel to stock up. And I say it quite frequently. Not only stock up for yourself, but perhaps you need to stock up for other people. There are resources, there are things that you can stockpile that could be of assistance to other people who are maybe making sacrifices in a time of difficulty. Having more food than you need. Being able to produce food. Being able to bring other people along with you as you produce food. Giving people a profitable employment where they can earn and work for the food that their family needs. Being able to support other families to help your local economy. Maybe there are trades or skills or things that you can produce at home that would be of assistance to other people. Building up alternative economies is so very critical. If you can make specialty luxury soaps, or maybe you can knit, or maybe you can have an embroidery business, those same tools in a dire pinch could be used not just to make fancy dresses, but could be made to make basic shirts and trousers for many, many people. Instead of 1 or 2 dresses a week, maybe you are making hundreds of pairs of pants. Because in times of desperation and difficult times, perhaps that will be needed. But what are you doing to become more self-sufficient? What are you doing to become more free of the system? You cannot stand up to a system that you are dependent upon. We've said this so many times. If you are dependent upon the supermarket, what happens when they require you to jump through hoops to go to the supermarket? What happens when they start not just checking your credit score, but they start checking your social credit score? Pouring and perusing through your social media accounts to decide whether you are sufficiently compliant enough in order to buy that loaf of bread. Steve, that's insane. That doesn't happen anywhere. It is happening right now in countries around the world. China has pioneered the social credit score, and people who are blacklisted cannot get onto public transportation. They cannot get on an airplane. They cannot get a passport to leave the country. And in fact, they are not allowed to leave their own provinces. You want permission to go live in a city? Yeah. That sounds insane that you can't move to the places in the country that you want to move to, but that is exactly what China is like. People with bad enough social credit scores find themselves to be arrested at stores and taken in for interrogation, and many of them disappear. This is not some science fiction novel. This is what is happening right now. And China is not alone in this. Other countries have seen this system and they are starting to implement it themselves in other countries. How long until they implement that here? How long until they implement it in your country? I don't know. Will there be enough people pushing back? And will people be able to push back? When there is a crisis and people are scared and they start turning over their rights to the government, we've seen this in the last several years where people were ready to rat out their neighbors. They were ready to see something and say something. Do you know who your neighbors are? Do you know who those in your neighborhood and in your community are very diametrically opposed to your belief systems? Do you know who you need to protect your community from? What is going on? Most people don't have a clue. Most people aren't paying attention. They're just waiting for some white knight to come riding across the horizon and to make everything right again. They see the problems just like you and I do, but they refuse to do anything about it. The most basic and the most simple thing that you can do, once again, is to stock up and to become more self-sufficient. Become more self-sufficient from your power grid. Become more self-sufficient from your water hookup. Become more self-sufficient from your grocery store. Become more self-sufficient from the things that you have to buy from China Mart. Whether it's Walmart or whether it's Target, all these things coming from China. These cheap plastic trinkets, things that you have to constantly replace. Perhaps buying a suitable and good quality American-made product might replace the need to continually replace things. A good spatula doesn't need to be replaced every year. But you go to the Dollar Tree, you go to Walmart and buy some of these cheap plastic spatulas, you got to replace them again and again. You have options of becoming more self-sufficient yourself by learning how to make things or by just stockpiling things. Maybe you need to go into China Mart and buy 20 spatulas so that you don't have to go back to the store every year to buy a new spatula. You have enough spatulas for the next 20 years. And that's just a silly example. I remember back when Dollar Tree used to have 3-pack bar soaps for $1. And I warned you, hey, it's coming. They're raising their prices to $1.25. You know what I did? I went out to the store and I bought up cases of these bars of soap. I mean, is it high quality soap? No, not at all. But now you're looking, you can't even find them for $1.25. They don't even stock them anymore because they thought that 3 bars of soap for $1 or even $1.25 is just too much. Too much value. These type of prices have gone away. I don't know if your investments have gone up 50% in the past year or so, but my bars of soap have gone up in value 50%. Better than any stock out there. Well, that's not true. There are some crazy, insane stocks out there. But it's quite a good investment. What about my canned goods? My canned goods have gone up dramatically in value. Great investments. And that's not all that to say, but the last 3 weeks my car has been broken down and I haven't needed to go out to a grocery store. I mean, I'm still getting around to get to church and stuff like that with Uber, but and with friends and such. But the peace that you can have, the strength that you can have knowing I don't need to go to the grocery store. I don't need to go somewhere. I have what I need here. I don't need, if a grocery store says that you need to start doing X, Y, or Z, tough luck. You go keep doing that. And I will have to watch many of my neighbors and many of the people in my community bow the knee and kiss the ring because they cannot stand up to a system that they are dependent upon. There are farmers out there who have hit the end of their rope, and that's what we will see. As this whole system degrades, we will see more and more people hitting the end of what they're able to tolerate. As they lose their livelihoods, they will then begin to act out. People who are desperate. Not people who are principled and driven by desire for change and positive good, but they're desperate. What we are seeing transpire around us now is more the setup to the French Revolution than it is to the American Revolution. We're seeing this wave of discontent that doesn't have any purpose other than to relieve their immediate discontent. It is setting the stage dangerously for someone to rise to power, or someone's to rise to power that will promise everything. And they'll say, it won't cost you anything. Just give me the power and I will fix your lives. I'll take care of those people over there that you don't like. And friends, read the media landscape. Who's the enemy? As a male with this skin color, I'm probably the enemy. I don't know. Maybe you look in the mirror and you say, hey, I'd be one of the enemies too. These people don't like me. These people say that I'm the problem. I live my life not to harm anyone else. That is driven by my faith, the commands of God, to love and to serve others, not to steal and to cheat. And many of you are driven by similar principles and values. But we see that we are made out to be the devil incarnate. We are made out to be the enemies, the bigots, whatever the accusations they want to level today. All the name calling. And it's based on your gender maybe. Maybe it's based on your skin color. Maybe it's based on your socioeconomic level or your perceived socioeconomic level, right? Sometimes we're not as rich as people think we are, right? People say that you've never been through any hardship in your life. Wouldn't you like to unfold your life before them? It would definitely change their perspective if they listen, but they're not willing to listen. The powers that be are moving to divide our peoples into groups that will fight amongst each other. They want to turn one group upon another so that we will not unite and replace them with a just, fair, and non-corrupt society. So what are you doing to move the ball forward? What steps have you taken today or this week? If you're not doing anything else, stockpile. Stockpile. See how you can support political candidates in your local community as well as at the national level that are doing something that you agree with. Perhaps finding those businesses in your local community that you can partner up with. Yeah, it will cost you more money, but you may find that the values and principles align better with what you stand for. Pop down in the comments down below what else you think we can be doing. What peaceful things, what ways can we push back and be more prepared for the times to come. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's another one right up here. Updates come every morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern Standard. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. God bless you all.